Hello and welcome. Today we're going to talk about the line of best fit and a little bit about linear regression. So let's take a look at the problem we're presented for this tutorial, and thank you for joining us. All right, we are given this problem that says they would like for us to construct a scatter plot, find the slope-intercept form of the equation of the line that best fits the data, and then we're also asked to give the r-squared value. Okay, so we're given this set of data here, and then we also want to find a couple other things. When x equals 7, we want to find the output of y based on our model, and then we want to find when y is approximately 9,000, what's going to be the x value, the input value, when the output's about 9,000. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is enter this set of data into our calculator. So what we're going to do, first thing you want to do is you want to go to y equals, and then clear anything, just in case you had anything in there. All right, and then in this menu, the y equals menu, you want to go ahead to stat, and then you want to go to edit, and then you're going to have L sub 1, L sub 2. The L sub 1 is where you're going to put your x values. So let's get our x values back up here. Oops. Okay. Well, it's not getting much smaller there. Oh, that's as small as we can get. Okay, let's bring it over here. So our x values are here. We have 0.1 and 0.1. 2.6, 3.7, 3.8, 5, 6.7, 7.9, 8.5, 8.5. 9.4. Okay, now we're ready to enter our y values into L sub 2. You just scroll over one, you can get there. So we have 2,000, another 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, another 4,000, 5,000, 6,000, 7,000, 8,000, and then another 8,000. Okay, so that completes our data. We've got x is entered in L sub 1, y is entered in L sub 2. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go to stat, and we're going to scroll over to calculate, and what we want to calculate is the linear regression right here, number 4. So x is L sub 1, y is L sub 2, so we're good there. So we just go ahead and scroll on down to calculate, hit calculate, and here is our linear regression model, and it's given to us in y equals ax plus b, and they're telling us a equals 681 b equals 1643.27 So why don't we round these values rather, they're not going up at all, but we round it to the thousands. So it's going to look like, we'll put it in y equals mx plus b format. So the equation that you want is going to look like this. So our equation is going to read y equals 681.32x plus 1643.27. Okay, that's just taking our data from that. The next thing we're going to do is plot our line onto the graph, and the way we do this is we go over to y equals, and we're going to go to vars. It's asking if there's anything in there, we want to clear that out, but we're going to go to y equals and then to vars, and we're going to go to statistics number 5. Okay, and then we're going to go over to the equation, scroll over to equation, and we want number 1, linear regression. So choose linear regression, and that puts the equation we just calculated into y sub 1. So we can hit enter there. Next we're going to go to second, and then y equals, which is our stat plot. Okay, and we're going to turn the stat plot on. 1 is selected, so I'm going to hit enter, and then I want to turn it on. It's blinking to turn it on, so I hit enter. And then the type, I'm going to go with this first type. X list is L sub 1, Y list is L sub 2, and I like this mark here, so I'm golden there. So I'm going to go ahead and hit enter, and then I want to graph this, so I'll go over to graph. Now, the reason it's giving me this, I need to hit zoom, and I need to zoom into our stat, which is number 9. You can scroll down, or you can simply choose 9, which zooms into our statistics, number 9, and that gives us our regression model. And okay, so what we can do here is we can play around a little bit to answer some of these questions we have. We can use the trace feature, and what happens with the trace when you initially hit it, it'll go to the data points you entered. Okay, now as you're scrolling up and seeing all the data points you entered, you can actually hit the up or down arrow, and that'll take you to the line itself. So if you go to the line, you'll notice that as the x values, this is the model, the line, the model they're giving you. So for example, right where I'm at is x equals 5.9 da da da. The output's going to be, according to the model, 5,688. And as I scroll up and down, it gives me different values. Now, in our question, we're given this prompt, and it's telling us when y is approximately 9,000, what is x? So we're going to say, oh, well, x is, let's find out here, x, let's keep going up and see if we can get to 9,000 as a y value without changing the screen. Maybe, maybe not. 9, it looks like it's stuck. Okay, so what do? And then we're going to have to go to zoom. Well, a couple ways we can do it. Why don't we just go to zoom out, number 3, and hit enter. And then this is where our cursor is now. So we can scroll up a little bit here. $9,000 is not too far away, so we can re-zoom it. Zoom in number 2. Alright, now we can go back to the trace feature. Trace. And still zoom in on our points, so we'll go up to the line itself and scroll down to 9,000. As close as we can. Looks like the closest I'm going to get before I'm not going to get too involved in it. 9,004.9 dot dot dot. That's close enough for me. So when y is approximately 9,000, here's my prompt. When y is approximately 9,000, what's the value for x? Well, x is approximately 10.8. So that's what I'm going to choose. I'm going to answer that like that. So I just simply answered this prompt by saying when y is approximately 9,000, x is approximately 10.8. There we go. That's the answer for that one. Okay, so moving on, we can talk about, let's go back to Zoom stat number 9 again. Put our line back, and we'll talk about this the other question they're asking here. They're asking when x equals 7. Well, we can simply find this out by going to calculate. So we hit second, calculate, and then a value. We're going to calculate the value. So we're on number 1, choose it, and it's asking us, it's prompting when x equals what? 7. We hit enter, and then it's giving us the output according to the model. Y is approximately 6,412.54 if we round up to the thousandths, whatever. Okay, so we can say when x equals 7, we just copy that answer out onto our paper. So I just copied the answer onto my paper here. When x equals 7, y is approximately 6,412.54. 2-digit sounds good enough to me. I apologize. Getting a little sleepy. The next thing the next thing we're going to talk about is this this part of the prompt that says find the equation and its r squared value. Okay, so r squared value. What is this all about? Let's just talk about r and r squared just real briefly, and then we'll find r squared and r and be done. Okay, r is the correlation coefficient. It measures the strength and direction of the linear relationship between two variables on a scatter plot. -1 is a perfect negative relationship, and 1 is a perfect positive relationship. R squared is the explained variation over the total variation. Okay, so let's see how we do that on the calculator. Well, in order to do this on the calculator, we're going to have to turn our diagnostics on. And the way we do that is we go to second y equals, which is stat plot. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm telling you wrong. We go to second catalog, which is 0. Second 0, that's the catalog. Okay, and what we're going to do is we're going to scroll down to the diagnostics. So they give us the A's, and we scroll down to the D's, diagnostic. Not that bad, it's right, close. Diagnostic on, we need to turn it on. So we're going to click that one, select, enter, diagnostic on. Okay. Oops, wait, I was in the wrong screen. We need to go to the home screen, I'm sorry. Now we go second catalog, and then we go down to the diagnostic. Please forgive me. I'll try to get through this. Ooh, oopsie, hit too many. Okay, diagnostic on. There we go. Enter. Diagnostic on. Yes, it's done. Okay, now, so we want to find the r squared. So we're going to go back to statistics, calculate, linear regression number 4, L sub 1, L sub 2. We're all good. Same as before. Go down to calculate. Now it's just going to give us the same thing with more data. All right, so there's our r squared value, 0.9831 dot 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 dot, and the r value is 0.99165, 156, whatever. Okay, so if you want those answers, you just write them down on your, actually you can just write them exactly as they're written right there. That's fine. Gives you the r squared and r values for this problem. Okay. So I've just simply copied out the r squared and r values here to answer all the prompts correctly, and given it a little more, actually more data than they asked for. They didn't ask for r, but they asked for r squared. So these are the approximate values for r and r squared. Okay, so hopefully this was a helpful tutorial for you, and thank you for your time. Look forward to seeing you on the next segment.